We are down to 5 players left in the Jack of Hearts game, and unfortunately that is an odd number, and that means Chishiya is the odd man out. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here to review Alice in Borderland Season 2, Episode 4. We continue the Jack of Hearts games from the previous episode, and Chishiya lost his partner. His partner tapped out, gave up, didn't give the right answer, essentially just quit this world, committed suicide, and that left Chishiya being the odd person out. Nobody to tell him the suit on the back of his neck. And at this point, it's not looking good for one of the main characters.
It's not looking good for Chishiya, and I like this game. It's probably my personal favourite game of Alice in Borderland. I just really love the concept that there's a lot of trust involved, and they have to go back to their own wee dormitories to answer the right symbol, and if they don't get it right, then bang, it's good night. There's a lot of faith. It's, if you do not trust the person, and it's like, God, I have a 1 in 4 chance of dying here.
25% chance of surviving.
Aye, well, yeah, true. It's a great game.
It is a great game. Is it your favourite game overall, or just a Season 2, or?
I would probably say overall, yes.
The only disappointing thing, I think, is that there wasn't more main characters playing it.
Yes, it was just Chishiya.
But then again, if there was more it kind of had to be this way, because if there was more than one, then they would have just teamed up and they would have had the trust of each other.
Yeah.
And there would not have been any danger that they could possibly lose unless somebody obviously wanted to turn on the group. But since Chishiya was essentially on his own and meeting a group of new people for the first time, the trust really wasn't there. But by the time the episode starts, we're dwindled down to 5 players. Chishiya then has to basically go around the remaining group in order to try and create an alliance, but nobody wants to be his friend. Nobody wants to team up with him. Nobody wants to tell him the truth about his numbers. So he ends up asking Matsushita, and he tries to tell him that Banda isn't playing correctly. Banda's going to turn on him. Why trust Banda when you can trust him? He tells Matsushita his suit, and then Matsushita begrudgingly tells Chishiya his suit. He didn't want to, but I guess he feels like since Chishiya showed him his, he'll show him his. But he tells him the wrong one, and Chishiya, I guess, figures this out. He then asks Kotoko, because I guess he figures out that maybe Kotoko and her look-alike boyfriend, perhaps, the presumed boyfriend, is maybe going to turn on her, so he tries to form an alliance with her. He gives her her suit, but again, she doesn't tell him his, and he's not going to get an answer. So he asks her then, is it a certain suit, to which she just walks off. And Chishiya then comes to the conclusion that it is not the suit that he asked, or else it would have been confirmed by Kotoko. So the fact that she ignored him means that he can rule out that suit. So he basically dwindles it down to a 50-50 chance, and he goes into the room knowing that there's a coin flip, essentially, that he could die. Now, we see more people discussing. They go into the rooms. There's a bang. One of the doors opens, and it is Matsushita who walks out, and he believes that he's won the game. He's celebrating. He thinks he's victorious. And then a couple more doors open. First of all, Chishiya walks out, and he says that he knew he was the heart of the Jack of Hearts. And Mashita's like, how did you know? How did you know it was me? And then another 2 doors open, and we get Banda and the other creepy dude, the guy in a suit, who doesn't have a name.
I believe he's the con man.
Yeah, the con man. He's not on the Wikipedia page, so blame the Wikipedia page.
I like the music reveal here.
Yeah,
where they all walked out their own doors.
So they come out, and Chishiya then explains that he could see Matsushita explaining with Kotoko, and that they would go to the pantry every day, and there was 4 flavors of these chips or cookies or whatnot, and they would pick the flavor depending on the suit. So they were telling each other's suit by the type of food that they were picking up and catering. Now, how Chishiya noticed that one, I do not know, because we never seen that.
That's a bit far-fetched for me.
So I guess it's a high-level IQ move, which I don't think we'd be capable of. So, I mean, I'm not going to hold that against them. But he then realised that it was Matsushita that was, in fact, managing to manipulate Kotoko. She then told Kotoko the wrong answer, because she had the right answer. She'd already been told by her I'm presuming boyfriend, the con man, plus Chishiya told Kotoko her real suit. So the fact that she got it wrong meant that she'd been lied to, and it was Matsushita that lied to her, and he assumed that he was going to win the game at this point because he had lied to Banda. He had also lied to Kotoko, plus he got Kotoko to lie to the con man, and Mashita had also lied to Chishiya and knew that he didn't have a partner to tell him the truth. So he went into this round thinking he was going to take out all 4 people. It didn't work out that way. They managed to reveal that he was in fact the Jack of Hearts, and then we get Banda and the con man. They decide to torture Mashita for some information. They said they're going to make it difficult. They're going to make it long for him. They tell him his real suit for the next entry into the chambers, but Mashita takes the easy way out. He gives it the wrong answer on purpose so that he can die, and I guess he's no longer being tortured. And then we see Chishiya walking away from the prison-like building. I believe it was a prison, and it just blows up, and we get the con man and Banda walking away in the other direction. They were a little bit surprised that Matsushita, the Jack of Hearts, gave up so easily, but I'm not, because at this point he was already found out. He was going to be tortured until he died anyway, so may as well just get it over with.
Yeah, there's not much point in him living.
I mean, he wasn't going to live, he was just
living for the next couple of rounds.
Yeah, they wanted to get information out about this place and, what the games are and why they're being forced and possibly how they got here, how they can return, but the Jack of Hearts just took the easy way and purposely lied so he would, die, which is just, maybe not a heroic maneuver, but, I mean, it's probably the smart thing to do. We then meet up with Arisu and Usagi. Kiana leaves them to go and find Anne. Arisu's depressed after Tata's death, and I mean, I feel like around this, it seems to be this point every season, there's a death that hits Arisu hard.
Yeah,
he was depressed in season 1, he was depressed in episode 4, season 2, he's depressed in episode 4. Episode 4 is not a good episode for Arisu.
No, it's not a good episode for Arisu, but I think at this point the episode just dropped off, and I think that's the problem. You've got games that take place over multiple episodes, but end halfway through one. It's like you just had the...
Well, I think it can work if the second half is picked up by another game.
Yep.
Like in episode 3, you got the ending of one game and then the beginning of another. And that's why I think episode 3 was really good. But episode 4, after the episode, it is a little bit of filler here. Arisu and Usagi are trying to find food. They're trying to eat. They come across a community videotapes and they find out that the place was slaughtered. Everyone was gunned down essentially by the King of Spades, who is this big fucking man who runs about with a torrent gun. He's not to be messed with.
Not a torrent.
Download torrents. Yeah, torrent gun. So he's not to be messed with. And they see on the previous video recordings that he just gunned everyone down. This guy is going to be tough to beat. And then he appears out of nowhere. He manages to chase them into the woods. Arisu distracts him so that he leaves Usagi and chases him. Arisu then is running into the woods to try and escape the King of Spades, but he gets whacked over the head by some sort of, it looks like a hockey stick, but it turns out it's the fucking prosthetic leg of a new female character that we meet, and she's called Heiwa. Arisu later wakes up that night. He wants to know where he is. He wants to know who this person is, and she's upset at him and says that if it was up to her, she would have just left Arisu and allowed him to be killed because he essentially gave away their ambush that they were going to take out the King of Spades. Arisu then asks, what do you mean use? Who is with you? Who helped me? And Heiwa says, he's not going to be happy when you wake up and find him. Arisu's like, what do you mean? Who's he? Arisu then walks over, and it turns out he is none other than Ugani, who we've seen in season 1. And the last time we've seen him, he pretty much ran into a burning building with Uragari.
And a million bullet holes in him.
Yeah, a million bullet holes running into a burning building. So, yeah, Ugani is back. He's still alive. He's still here. And it looks like he is the one that is attempting to take down the King of Spades. And to be honest, if anyone's going to take down the King of Spades, it probably is Ugani. So, yeah, that's it. That's the episode. Ends there. Should it have ended on a cliffhanger, or was it better for Arisu to see Ugani?
I think it was probably better to see him. You've got to bear in mind, with these shows, they're all released on the same day.
Yeah, so there's no real need of a cliffhanger, is
Yeah,
there?
I actually, and is that true? I mean, I guess like these shows when they come out, if you're just watching them when they're not live, or it does depend how you watch them. Like if you're watching the show like years after it comes out, it doesn't really matter. But if you're actually watching it episodically, it does matter. But I mean, do they really factor that in? I think some shows do, but not here. They do.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, guys, time to rate the episode. I think the first half was really strong. Unfortunately, the second half was pretty weak. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I just thought the probably the final 20 minutes up until they encountered the King of Spades. I mean, it was literally just Arisu and Usagi looking for food and then coming across that community that had been completely slaughtered. Like, yeah, there was lots of dead bodies and all that stuff lying about, but I mean, it was pretty slow. I mean, we know this is like a cruel world. I don't think coming across a community with dead people is really the I don't think it was this massive reveal. But I'm giving it a 6.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. So that's a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. That is it, guys. Episode 4 is done. Would episode 4 have worked better if it was just the full Chishiya game? I mean, possibly it might have been better that way. But 6.5, guys, out of 10. We'll catch you for episode 5. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the return of Aguni. Anyway, that's it. Till next time. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and until next time, peace.